This is wild. The New York Knicks master plan has just been revealed by an NBA insider, showing what their future holds, as today they could finally sign a 15th man to the team, but there's also a stipulation that can help them out so much where they could bring in another signing as well, which is huge considering the New York Knicks center depth issues with all these injuries. Meanwhile, they completely botched a certain signing, and we are going to break all of that down. So a lot to talk about today, guys. What's up? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into things as always. Guys, if you're enjoying the content, if you're having fun watching these videos, and you're part of that 69% that's not subscribed, make sure to hit the subscribe button. We're trying to get to 13, maybe 14K before the playoffs begin, and you guys have been killing it with the subs recently. Let's keep that up. I would really appreciate it, but let's jump into the video, guys. We're here to talk some basketball. The New York Knicks, we've seen a lot of different guys who they've had interest in signing. One of them here in Chuma Okeke, another one here in TJ Warren, and Leon Rose is going to have a tough decision to make, and that decision can be made as early as today, February 28th, as the Knicks now can sign someone to the prorated veteran minimum salary for their 15th man. But here's the thing, guys. There's a way that the New York Knicks can bring in another guy onto the team, and we are going to discuss all this. Now, yes, in case you're wondering, it does have something to do with a certain center being injured in Ariel Hukporti. Obviously, Mitchell Robinson is coming back probably tonight, so that's going to help the Knicks center depth a lot. But because of this injury to Hukporti, the New York Knicks are now in a different situation where they might be able to bring in two guys. And let's break this down. Let's take a deep dive into things. As mentioned by Ian Begley, the Knicks can add a veteran center to the roster as early as Friday. Their team salary is hard capped at the second apron. They're not allowed to go into the second apron, but they'll have enough cap space under the apron to add a veteran's minimum deal. Before the Hukporti injury, both TJ Warren and Chuma Okeke were among the players on the Knicks' radar for that open roster spot. And with Hukporti out, the Knicks could pivot to signing a center or ask Precious Achiuwa to play more in the middle as a center. New York also has the option of signing players on 10-day contracts as it sorts out the situation. Now, on top of all that, it's also mentioned by Yossi Goslan. Make sure to check out his YouTube channel. Ian Begley loves this guy as well. Goslan mentioned that if the Knicks sign a player on February 28th, their roster is finalized. They wouldn't have enough room below the second apron to sign another player if they wanted him to replace someone already on the roster, meaning they have to waive someone or buy someone out like cough DeLon Wright. But if they delay signing someone to the rest of a season contract by 1 day to March 1st, they'll have room to make an additional signing on the last day of the season as well. The longer they delay someone to a rest of season contract, now the earlier they can make an additional signing later. So they don't necessarily only get a chance to sign someone on the last day of the season. That's just if they decide to make the signing tomorrow. If they decide to make a signing next week, they can bring in a second signing soon after. The Knicks would have to get rid of one of their guys, like DeLon Wright is the most likely candidate, if you ask me. I know the Knicks were reported to be interested in keeping him around, but it just feels like the most obvious waiving you can make. No, this does not count for guys like Jacob Toppin, Matt Ryan, or Kevin McCullough Jr., because they're all on two-way contracts. Obviously, they're not going to waive Kevin McCullough Jr. He's one of their rookies. He's going to get a more guaranteed deal as time goes on, especially probably just over next season or during next season at some point. Right now, he's going to stay on that two-way deal, but a guy like Matt Ryan or a guy like Jacob Toppin could get waived, but it wouldn't mean the Knicks can sign someone. It's still just a two-way contract. They can't play those guys in the playoffs, but it is important to know that the New York Knicks could bring in another guy as well, so this would absolutely be a genius move by Leon Rose to hold off and see what the Knicks need. See if Mitchell Robinson can stay healthy and Ariel Hukporti can work his way back and Karl-Anthony Towns can get back from that knee injury, and then if all that works out, you won't need to add another center to the team, so that's the position you wait on. Right now, what you do is your next signing has to be either TJ Warren or Chuma Okeke. That's what makes the most sense. Warren, I'd say, is the favorite for this. In the G League, he's putting up 25 points per game, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists, while shooting over 50% from field and over 35% from three-point range. So he does add a lot of good to a Knicks roster that could definitely use another scorer and another forward or wing off the bench. So TJ Warren fits in well here, as does Chuma Okeke, who's a better defender than Warren, also putting up 17 points in his career in the G League, with his career average for the Westchester Knicks being 18 points per game. So he's also a really good rebounder and gets a good amount of assists. He's had a few triple-doubles for Westchester this year. He's been a very solid player, and Tom Thibodeau absolutely loves this guy because he's a very good defender who can guard multiple different positions, good athlete, really does like a corner three shot. The problem with OKK is he's only been shooting around 32% from three for his career, something that was expected to be much higher when the Orlando Magic drafted him just a couple of years ago. Obviously, that didn't work out. OKK did play a game for the 76ers, but got in for like 3 minutes at garbage time and literally didn't even attempt a shot. He got a rebound, but literally that was it. So his stats are like 0, 1, 0, 0. Everything else is a 0 as well. So it does make for an interesting moment for OKK because you know that other teams have had interest in bringing him on. So this does add a bunch more to the table. And on top of that, someone else who now with these center issues they could have brought in was Moses Brown, who on the Dallas Mavericks put up 20 points, 11 rebounds, 3 steals, and 2 blocks while shooting 9 for 14 from the field. Now, you guys, if you've been following this channel for a while, you know I'm a big Moses Brown fan. You know that I believe heavily in this guy as someone who should be in the NBA, and the fact that he's not getting consistent NBA roles, I just find to be straight up strange, because when he gets chances, he puts up numbers like this. I wanted the New York Knicks to sign him. I really, really did. And now he's on Dallas, where he actually played once before in the 2021-22 season. Funny enough, he's 7'2" and was teammates with the 7'3" Kristaps Porzingis and the 7'5" Boban Marjanovic as well. So it was the tallest center lineup in the NBA at the time, which is just a fun little fact. Doesn't really have any other impact on things. But here is something that we should consider as well. The Knicks can still acquire Moses Brown. Now, I was going to do a full video on this, and if you guys want me to do a full video breaking everything down about Moses Brown, leave a comment down below. I'm happy to make that video. I love talking about Moses Brown. He's a New Yorker, went to a high school that I actually almost went to as well, which is pretty cool. I'm a big fan of Moses Brown's game, and I just think he belongs in the NBA. The fact that he was ever in the G League is baffling to me, and it's been very consistent that he's been in the G League or overseas because he just can't stick around on teams for a while, which to me makes no sense, and I think teams are just overlooking him because how many other teams have overlooked him as well. But the the Magic, why do I keep calling the Mavericks the Magic? But the Dallas Mavericks, they've now signed Moses Brown twice, but here's the thing. They cannot keep him around. Now, it was mentioned by Fansided, by the Smoking Cuban, the Mavs Fansided, that due to the Mavericks being hard capped at the first apron because of the money they took back in their 2 deadline moves, the Luka trade, the other trade with Quentin Grimes, the Mavericks barely had enough financial wiggle room to sign Brown to a 10-day contract in the first place, and now they don't have enough financial means to re-sign him to another one unless they want to wait till April 10th when a veteran's minimum slot will open up for Dallas. So the Knicks have a window to bring Moses Brown back to their team, but instead put him on the actual roster. So then you sign one of TJ Warren and one of Chuma Okeke right before then, sometime in the March area, and then like mid-March or something, so you could get Moses Brown even sooner, but still before that April 10th deadline, so the Mavs can't snatch him back up, so the New York Knicks can pick up Moses Brown, get Moses Brown in a perfect position for them where he could play in a good role because they won't have Huck Porty and Mitchell Robinson won't be playing back-to-backs, and Precious Achiuwa is more of a power forward than a center, which all of this leads to Moses Brown getting real minutes with the Knicks and showing the Knicks what he could do and fighting for the backup center role next year if the Knicks decide to trade Mitchell Robinson over the offseason, something I expect them to do. And if they do that, they have a very cheap backup in Moses Brown and also Ariel Huck-Porty, so they have 2 young guys. Now, Moses Brown's like 25, 26, but he's still on the younger side. And on top of that, he has a lot of untapped potential still. The Knicks have 2 centers that they could really work with as their backups in Huck-Porty and Moses Brown, or they could sign someone else like a Steven Adams or something as a veteran if they move on for Mitch, or draft another center, and have Karl-Anthony Towns slide to that 4 spot where he's better and it makes the Knicks defense better. Also, as you saw, the man had multiple blocks, multiple steals. He's a great defender. This is a perfect move for the New York Knicks to acquire not just TJ Warren and or Chuma Okeke, or Chuma Okeke. It can't be both of them, or then it can't be Moses Brown. Then they could also get one of those guys and Moses Brown. That's what makes the most sense to me, if you ask me right now. I do trust that Mitchell Robinson's going to mostly stay healthy, but here's the thing, guys. These 2 guys are very good, but you only really need one of them, and on top of that, Mitchell Robinson is known to be injury prone, and on top of that, Ariel Huck-Porty tore his meniscus and is down from 4 to 6 weeks, so there's a real chance that we just won't see Huck-Porty play or be ready by the time of the playoffs, which is a very scary thought if the Knicks don't want to bring him another center, because that absolutely insists that Mitchell Robinson has to stay healthy, something I do believe in because it's why the Knicks haven't brought him back just yet, even though that's probably going to end tonight, just on the sheer fact of, okay, let's make sure Mitchell Robinson is fully healthy, fully ready to go, and has done a lot of preventative work to not get re-injured. But guys, I do want to know what you guys think, so let me know in the comments down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. If you guys want that deep dive on Moses Brown, I'm happy to do it. Let me know what you guys want to see. I'm going to keep making these videos. Guys, have a great day, and go Knicks.